David Wygant, 10 minutes of daily reality. This is the podcast of the week. Why? I got to admit I was lazy this week, man. Usually I do 3 podcasts, but this week I'm just like, I'll probably do a few more, but Thanksgiving hangover. What is it about Thanksgiving? Why does it make you feel hungover? I don't even eat that food. Matter of fact, I feel pretty clear every single day, but there must be something about Thanksgiving that causes, I know what it is. Man, you're heading into December. It's the last month of the year. Holidays are coming. It's all this sleepy music in all the stores, right? Ken, what is it about the sleepy music? It's like my daughter yesterday went to Universal Studios, and Layla has Layla's December's Mix, which is all these Christmas songs. And it plays in Spotify, the first 5 ones over and over again, because it seems like we only get through 5 songs on each drive, right? Each drive is approximately 15 minutes to go 1/8 of a mile in Los Angeles, right? To drive down the block, it takes about 15 minutes. Yeah. And I realized it's like these sleepy, sleepy songs over and over again. It's crazy. It's not fun. So
that's the curse of music.
It is, right? So we're going to talk about something today that is exciting, right? So as you know, if you haven't listened to the last interview, Ken is the genius scientist behind C60 Purple Power. For those of you who did not listen to last week's podcast on C60 Purple Power, I strongly suggest that you do, because you'll understand what expanding energy is, endurance, and even more endurance. So I have been taking C60 for approximately 2 weeks, and I have a system that I take it, okay? So in the morning, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, Ken. I drink a glass of water, right? I wait 25 minutes, and then I take about 1.25 tablespoons to 1.5 tablespoons, because I really like the way it tastes. And then I don't drink any water for at least a half an hour to 40 minutes. I leave it in my mouth for about 5 minutes, and I let it get into my bloodstream that way first, and then I take it into my stomach and let it get to my empty stomach, right? And go through my bloodstream that way. I have noticed a couple of things. One thing is extremely glaring, okay? So there's 2 things that are glaring. The first thing is my dreams are out of control. They're ridiculous, okay? The second thing is I'm like 14 years old again. I woke up the other morning, and this is for, if you have children listening right now, I strongly suggest you put your earphones on, because we're going to talk about some adult stuff right here. I woke up because the feeling in my underwear, I was literally felt like I was going to burst. I mean, I was like, what is this? Like a 14-year-old erection in the middle of the night? I'm like, come on, I'm 57 years old. Go down. So hour later, I wake up, it's still there. Hour later, I wake up, it's still there. And I'm like, just about there. And then I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was still there. And I'm like, all right, this is bizarre. I mean, it doesn't just happen one night. It happened last night. It happened 2 nights ago. It happened 4 nights ago. What is this doing exactly? Not that I want to have sex in the middle of the night. It's like not my thing. It's like when I was 21, 22, it was great. But why am I becoming a 14-year-old boy all night long, having the most wild dreams I've had in so long? What am I stimulating, literally?
Well, that's a common, side effect of C60. And part of that is when you take C60, it gets into your body, it gets uptaken by the cells, and then it gets uptaken by the mitochondria. And as people know, the mitochondria, like the energy powerhouses of the cell, they make the ATP, which is adenine triphosphate, which is the main energy molecule of the cell. But mitochondria also make another thing that's called pregnenolone. And pregnenolone is the precursor molecule for all the hormones. And so as you get older, a lot of the antioxidants that the body provides gets less to the body provides to the mitochondria. So the mitochondria have to kind of shut down, run at a lower level, because they only run as much as the antioxidants they have. And so their production of pregnenolone goes down, as well as ATP. Well, once you get your C60 in, your mitochondria fire back up, so you get your ATP, so you get the energy, And then you get the pregnenolone, which is the precursor molecule for the hormones. And then that gets turned into the androgen, so basically testosterone for men.
So that's what's happening. So basically you went very scientific. That's why Ken's the scientist, and I'm the guy that's just trying to figure out the answers, right? So to break it down for all of you non-scientists, your testosterone is, so it happens all, I mean, I'm not walking around with an erection all day long. So it happens in the nighttime. So is the repairing of my body happening when I'm sleeping? Is that what is just, because I take C60 at 6 a.m. in the morning. So wouldn't you think that, I should be walking, walking around with an erection all day long? Thank God I'm not. I remember those days. I remember when I was like eighth and ninth grade. I remember ninth grade, I sat next to Lisa Ruttman in Spanish class, and she had the best rack I've ever seen, up until that point, right? And I remember my Spanish teacher asked me to put the homework on the board, and I couldn't because I didn't know how to tuck, right? You remember when you're in high school, you learn how to tuck. You got to tuck it up, put it into your belt buckle, and kind of get out of class that way if you have those spontaneous erections. So what I'm trying to understand is even though I'm taking it at 6 o'clock in the morning, Lisa Ruttman and Mr. McBride's Spanish class is not there to stimulate me. Why is the repair of my mitochondria and other things happening at night? Is the stuff just kind of going through my system at night and kind of doing the repairs then? Because I really want to, I want to understand this. I mean, because I know guys will listen right now and they'll order through C60 and they'll think like, oh my God, it is better than Viagra, because Viagra is terrible drug with side effects. So what is happening? Why is it at night? Why is the nighttime stuff going on?
Well, that probably has something to do with the dreams. They're probably linked together. That usually happens at nighttime. A lot of men have a lot of erections associated with the dreams and what's ever going on in the subconscious and such in there. So that's a common side effect. And it's subconscious. So you're working out subconscious things.
Yeah, I know, man. That subconscious is interesting. Can I share an experience with you? Maybe you can make light of it, right? Coming from your scientific background. So I get acupuncture 3 days a week because it's really good to treat eye stuff, right? And the guy is awesome. He studied under this guy that's like one of the biggest gurus in New Jersey, who's been healing people from, macular degeneration and glaucoma and other stuff for years. He stops it or he reverses it, right? And he brings your vision back to, being laser sharp, whatever it is. So the other day on Monday, now I've been with C60 for, at that point, probably 11 days, right? And I'm taking other vitamins and other minerals, and I'm eating like insane amount of greens. So my body, God bless me, is being pumped up in a lot of ways, okay? I go get acupuncture, and he puts the needles all in my eyes here and throughout my whole body, and then he puts the electrical stim, right? He attaches it all to the needles here and then turns it on. So I'm laying there, and, I'm like, and I'm just like, whoa, and I start meditating, and I'm just like, oh God, this is so great. It's like, oh, I'm just feeling healing power, energy, light coming into me. And then about 20 minutes into the session, he comes in the room. Oh, he's coming in the room. All right. I open my eyes very little, and I see him standing above me, and he's got a metal strip about this long, and he's putting it above my eyes about 1.5 inches from the needles. And I feel now, from my eyes, the back of my eyes, I feel this energy being released upwards, right? And my eyes are open at the time, and I see him above me. And I feel the energy going from my eyes through the needle to this metal thing. And I'm like, what is this metal thing? Oh my God, I got to close my eyes, because if I don't close my eyes, I'm going to ruin this experience, right? Because I'm going to be too aware of it, and I'm going to think about why he has this metal thing, right? So I go through this whole thing. I'm laying there. I hear him leave the room. About 20, 25 minutes later, the session's over. He comes in, and I'm really excited like a little boy. I'm like, hey, I said, when you came in here and you put that metal strip over my eyes. And he looks at me with a blank face, and he goes, David, I didn't come in the room. Because I was outside talking to a friend of mine about his house deal. what are you talking about? You were standing over me. I saw you, man. It was you. I saw your bald head. I recognize you, man. It's like, I see you. And he looks at me and he says, no. Because I've had a couple of clients that have said that to me, that they thought they've come in and done that. So I don't hallucinate. I wasn't on mushrooms, any other powerful drugs, or anything else. I was very conscious, Ken, of where I was. So what do you make of that experience? Because I have been trying to figure that out for a couple of days, and I've thrown it off healers and other people, and they all have their theories on it, right? But this was one of the most intense feelings I've ever had, because I felt like my electrical energy was going up into this metal plate, and he was capturing whatever crap was in my eyes and taking it out, or whatever it might be. It was just bizarre. What do you make of that experience from your, from your point of view, from your history, or from your diving into C60 and you're diving into the scientific workings of the body and the brain? Help me out here, because I'm really curious, and I know my listeners right now are probably going, well, that's trippy shit, man. You sure you wasn't the acid that you did back when you were 21? I only did that once, so I don't get acid flashbacks. What do you make of it, Ken?
Well, I think, well, if it was just your experience, right? But that other patients have said the same thing.
Yep.
So that's different, because it's not just you. If it's not a one-off. There's a thing called translocation. I don't know if you ever heard of that, or the other people talked about it.
No,
some people can project their consciousness. Yeah, some people can project their consciousness. Like, he may be talking to his friend outside, but he projects his consciousness to, to his patient, just, to kind of checking up. And so there's like people where, they'll be in one place and people are seeing them, but then somebody else will see them that they know will see them in another place. It's like they're in two places at the same time. Their mental projection is translocates and does that. There's a whole history of this. Many people have been known to do this, but it tends to be like guru types and high consciousness individuals that somehow they can, like, it's like an astral projection thing, but people can actually see it. So it might have been something like that. I mean, that's the closest explanation I could come to. But some people are capable of doing that, and then some people are able to pick that up, because maybe you're hooked up and you're at a higher frequency, and you could actually see whatever was happening in that translocating thing.
So when they do that, I mean, when you're like in a healing process, and I think that's really important, because you take something like C60, and that it has the power to heal, because you do, from one, and I want you to share more stories about people in a minute, right? But and I researched a lot about it before we even connected. And that's why I'm really happy about you and I doing the podcast, because I want more people to really be aware of this, and I think it's really, really important, for people to understand that we have this healing power within ourselves, because we're all psychic in ways. Some of us are a lot more psychic, some of us a lot more in tune. But it was so specific to energy, because anything that is in your body that doesn't want to be in your body has to shoot out somewhere, right? It's like you have to get rid of it. And I feel like it was like dumping its way, like almost like, because when you get macular degeneration, you have drusen in your eyes. They're little yellow dots. They're cholesterol dots. They got to go somewhere, right? Whether you absorb them somewhere, or they fly out of your eyes, whatever you believe in. And it's a really interesting thing, because it's not like I go in, when I take something, I'm very present. Like I take C60 because I look at it as, well, it cured your macular degeneration, will cure mine. I mean, I'm very blunt about that with myself, right? Oh, this guy Ken, if Ken can do it, I can do it. If you told me we're going to go snowshoeing and it's 5 miles and I've never done it, I'll be, Ken can do it, I can do it. That's my mentality in life. If this person can do it, I can do it. Might take me a little longer, might take me a little shorter. I might trip on myself a little bit. So I have an intent when I take something, because when I take something that's healing, I have an intent that I give it. So when I go in acupuncture, I had that intent. The intent was, I'm going to heal whichever way possible. What's happened in those sessions has been really, really fascinating and very powerful. The people that you have that have had the best breakthrough, have you found in your testimonials, have they had intention, or have they just been pleasantly surprised and they've gone in with an open mind?
Well, both of those have happened. Like in the testosterone zone, we had like one, he had one 7-year-old, and he went to his doctor. He had like 350 the testosterone level. So they gave him some creams and stuff, and he managed to get up to 745. And he bought C60, to improve his mental cognition and general health, right? But then after about a month or two taking C60, he went in to get his testosterone levels again, and he was at 1200,
Wow.
which is really high, especially for a 7-year-old guy. So they took him off a whole bunch of the medications. And another thing, you're talking about the druising and the cholesterol. Well, one of the things that pregnenolone, which is the precursor for all the hormones, is made out of, it's made out of LDL cholesterol, the low density lipid, the bad cholesterol. That's why your body makes LDL primarily, so that it can be converted, that your cells can uptake it, especially the adrenal glands, and then convert it into pregnenolone, which is the precursor for all the hormones. And then that goes out and gets turned into the androgens or estrogens or cortisol or glucocorticoids or whatever it is that it's going to do. So when you do take C60, that's why your LDL levels go down as well. But it's primarily because it's actually being used up by your mitochondria to turn into pregnenolone. So, and that's the reason your body makes it in the first place. So, so that's another side effect that C60 does. But yeah, it's just, some people go in with intention and they get results. Other people, they go in with the intention to do this, and then they have a surprise thing. Because when I was taking C60, I didn't know it was going to do anything for my macular degeneration. It just was improving my general health. And I said, okay, I'll do this. I didn't do it every day. I was on and off. I wasn't like, really expecting anything. And then when I went to my doctor, it was like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, so it's a mix of both.
Okay, so it's interesting, because it really is the power of belief and everything. And I've got a lot of it, in my coaching for a lot of years, man, I've run into a lot of men of all ages that they think they need Viagra, a lot of men. The only time I've ever honestly needed Viagra and is when I know I'm not emotionally connected to somebody, because I got performance anxiety. I got nothing wrong with it down there, never have, unless I'm not emotionally connected. But I know myself really, really well. But you have a lot of men, younger men, that have been addicted to porn. Regular sex is not as exciting as porn to them. They have trouble getting erections and so forth. They get in their head. Once they get in their head, it becomes all over. And I know a lot of guys in their 20s that have Viagra prescriptions, which is just, to me, insanity. I mean, whoa. It's like, if it doesn't work one night in your 20s, so what? Who cares? So when a guy takes this, and I think it's a psychological thing too, and a lot of you guys listening right now, there'll be a discount code at the end of the show, and you got to look at this and give it a month or two and really get into it, because a lot of you guys are in your peak of your life where you can prevent things from happening, but psychologically you need that thing that's going to allow you to perform the way that you need to perform. So I can only imagine the benefits of this. Like, Ken, what are the benefits of a young guy taking this? Because I think that.
Well, first.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, you got to realize that today's young kids, it's not so good. I mean, they've been exposed to like these massive doses of vaccines that have all kinds of toxins in them. If you look at the food that they've been eating, it has all kinds of toxins in them. It's not like when we were younger. They've got a huge toxic burden, and which is, of course, as those toxins break down, they produce oxidative radicals, which then cause damage. And I mean, that's the main reason the toxins are causing it. You get C60, first it's going to clean up those oxidative radicals. The toxins are there, but the damage that they cause isn't happening. So that means your body can actually start doing some healing. You know, the biochemistry can run the right way instead of just being constantly jacked up because of that. And I mean, we've had people, you know, for mental, people notice mental clarity, mental focus, and motivation increase hugely with C60 because it gets in there, goes into the blood-brain barrier, gets in, starts the mitochondria. It also fixes, you know, the mitochondria hooked into the endoplasmic reticulum, which makes all the proteins, which are also the neurotransmitters. So now your neurotransmitters are getting done correctly and they're getting delivered. So your, you know, your brain begins to work the way it's supposed to be. And, you know, and also we've had some cases, it looks like C60 will neutralize a lot of the effects and even flush out like a lot of the toxic heavy metals. I mean, if you've had 50 vaccinations when you're a kid, you've probably loaded up on mercury and other nastiness that's, that you need something to help flush it out and also help stop the damage. It's just and then in the endocrine disrupting chemicals too that are in the diet, you know, the plasticizers and the plastic, you know, that people have, it's just leaking out everywhere. I mean, we live in a super toxic society. I didn't have that when I was a kid, neither did you, but today with all the added things they put in the food, the plasticizers, I mean, this artificial environment, you know, 40,000 chemicals that they're using that we don't really know the effects of a handful of them only. You know, they're kind of like guinea pigs in a new world age.
You know, it's wild. I mean, we're so toxic, and we really need to be cleansed in so many levels, you know, from air quality. I mean, you live, you know, where you live, it's beautiful, but breathe the air in Los Angeles. You know, there are days that my eyes burn, physically burn.
Oh, yeah.
You know, water.
Well, I used to live in LA.
So, yeah, you know, I mean, you know, it's like there are days where I'm walking up, I'm in really good shape, but I'll walk up 3 flights of steps and I'll be winded and I'll be like, what the hell's going on? And then I'll realize bad air quality today. You know, there are days when the smoke, it's taken me a couple of months since the fires for my eyes not to be watery. This is the first week my eyes have not watered in probably 2 months. You know, I don't feel like there's a puddle in my right eye, you know, because my right eye just feels like, it's like, I don't know, it's just more sensitive than my left eye because I got a stigma, whatever that thing is in my right eye. So it's a little more stressed out at times, right? Long distance vision. So it just, I don't have that burning, but you get the itchy and the toxins and what people live near. My brother, I don't know if you're familiar with polyvera. Do you know what that is?
No.
Look at it. It's a rare blood disorder where his red blood cell count becomes very, very thick. It's a gene mutation.
Oh, yes, I am familiar with that. Yeah. And you got to go down and give blood all the time. So you keep your health up. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yes.
Right. You got to get your blood drained. Then you got to get on these incredible medications. And once you're on these medications, you can't get off the medications. So you're on these medications for the rest of your life. And, you know, you have propensity to stroke and other things. And they've looked at it. It's a gene that broke, basically. But they look at it and they don't know what causes it. But then they start looking at the environment around. And there's a lot of cases that were in Brooklyn, right, where he lived. And they look at the toxicity.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's so much toxicity in these big cities, you know, and I always tell people all the time, you know, what the fuck do you want to live in Los Angeles for? It's like you have traffic, toxic air, overpriced rents, and sunshine. People go, well, it's the sunshine. I said, well, don't you realize the sun is burning your eyes? It's causing damage to your eyes on a daily basis unless you're wearing you have to wear sunglasses in LA in cloudy weather. You know, I mean, it's brutal. You know, your air quality is terrible at all times. Your quality of life is stressed out, you know. So people they'll look at the sun and they go, oh, I could never live in a place like Seattle. Seattle's got quality of life and it's clean air. It's funny what people's priority is. I don't think they understand the environment around them is causing oxidative stress inside their body. And C60 is something that can help repair the oxidative stress that has been caused by their environment, correct?
Oh yeah, that's one of its key things. Look, you can't, you know, I recommend people turn organic. I mean, they said if people eat all organic, you can get flushed out 90% of the pesticides and herbicides and stuff. And I mean, you're going to have, you can do a lot of good things, but you're still going to have those toxins there. It's just in one of those things that just are toxic environment, unless you maybe move to some outer Mongolia or something where there's not so much. So you're going to have to do those, and you're going to have to deal with them now. And that's what C60 can do. C60 can get in there, take care of all that. And it's not the toxins. When the toxins break down, they produce these oxidative radicals. And that's what the problem is. And the C60 being probably the strongest antioxidant known, it can take care of those and the high energy oxidative radicals. That's one thing I want to talk about too. The C60 is a selective antioxidant. That means it takes out like superoxygen, which is oxygen with an extra electron, hydroxyl radical, hydrogen peroxide, other peroxides and stuff. And those are the nasty ones. And that's a lot of those are also produced in your mitochondria, the energy powerhouse. But what C60 doesn't do, it doesn't mess with, say, the nitrogen oxide cycle. The nitrogen oxide cycle is what gives you a hard-on, right? You know, that's a Woody. That's what it's going to be, because you need the nitrogen oxide for the blood dilation and all that. So C60 doesn't mess with that. And it also doesn't mess with a bunch of other reactive oxidative species signaling molecules. Some of them are based on iron, sulfur, and zinc. So your body uses these reactive oxidative species as like signaling molecules. But C60 doesn't mess with those. So it only deals with the really high energy ones, which aren't really being used by the body as a signaling molecule. And that's what's so great, because if you take a lot of other antioxidants, you glutathione or load up on these other things, you can actually have bad effect, because you need a certain type of reactive oxidative species, these signaling molecules, to get everything to work. So if you just dose up on just a regular antioxidant, you know, it's going to mess with that and you're going to have problems. And that's one of but C60 doesn't do that, because it's selective. It only does the higher level oxidative radicals. And part of that, I'll maybe on another show I'll talk about, but C60, it fits into the groove of the RNA molecule and the side groove of the DNA molecule, and it's created by meteoritic impacts. And so on the early Earth, there was actually a geologic deposit of C60 primitive lipids and amino acids in which RNA and DNA chemistry originated from. And that's why C60 has no toxic effect at any levels, because it was life's original antioxidant. But I could talk more about that on another show. That would take a long time.
No, I want to talk more about that. So the question is, if you're taking other good anti-aging, antioxidants and stuff like this, so what I'm hearing, I'm trying to interpret in my non-scientific mind, right, is that by taking C60, my other antioxidants and glutathione and vitamin C are getting absorbed better into my body, and I'm not just flushing them down the toilet. Instead of like, because I know, we take supplements and the supplements aren't getting absorbed because our bodies can't absorb it. But if we take C60, it allows us to absorb our other nutrients better. Are we absorbing our nutrients better now? So the glutathione I'm taking is actually working instead of just going whoosh down the toilet.
Well, one of the problems with glutathione, you have to take precursors of glutathione, because the body can't glutathione won't make it through your digestive tract, basically. So if you got some precursors, and then your body can make those. And like vitamin C, it is an antioxidant, but it's also a building block. It's one of those building blocks. The body uses that in the Krebs cycle and a couple other places. And so it's a building block, like vitamin D and vitamin K. They are basic building blocks for a lot of basic chemistry. So they have more value than just the antioxidant. But CoQ10 is about the only thing you can take that'll get through your digestive tract and into your cells. A lot of the glutathione and other stuff won't actually make it in. Some of the precursor molecules you can take, and then the body turns those into glutathione through a longer process. But the main thing is like for C60, when people take C60, like in the mitochondria, the mitochondria take it up and they make superoxygen. That's an oxygen with an extra electron. It's one of the nastiest, it is the nastiest oxidative radical in the body. Now, normally in the mitochondria will take superoxygen dismutase, which will neutralize that superoxygen, turn it into hydrogen peroxide, and then catalase will come by and turn the hydrogen peroxide into two oxygens. Well, C60 is different. C60 goes to the edge of the outer mitochondria envelope and picks up a bunch of hydrogen ions, pulls them through, and then like when it attaches to a superoxygen, touches it, it actually it pulls the electron off the superoxygen, it goes back to oxygen and can be immediately reused in the Krebs cycle. It doesn't even, and so actually when you take C60, they've done scientific studies, they found this, your body's use of the catalase goes way down, because the C60 can do the job of SOD and catalase with one shot. And so it takes the burden off. And so what other antioxidants you have, they can do their job the right way. and everything runs correctly. And especially since the mitochondria are stuck up on the endoplasmic reticulum, that's where all your proteins are made and advanced chemicals to make everything. And if they get oxidative damage, they don't work. They're just junk. Either they jam things up or they have to be cleaned out. So C60 is right there. It protects all that. And so everything that your body makes, it goes in. And you'll get that immediate. Like you're in your first couple of weeks, right? You're going to get that. You're going to get all these other things. What's going to happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months is as your body rebuilds itself, because your body totally rebuilds itself every 7 years, is you rebuild itself, it's going to rebuild itself with correct proteins and other correct chemicals, right, that aren't damaged by oxidative radicals. So everything's going to work better. And so you'll see this gradual improvement in just everything. You know, like people have their T3 and their T4 and their thyroid starts kicking back up. They don't need their thyroid medications anymore. And it's not because C60 healed anything. C60 just lifted the oxidative burden. Right. The cells could work correctly, and then everything went from there.
I love it. I mean, it's so cool. It's like I'm trying so hard to understand the scientific part of it, you know, which is like, and I love how you explain it, you know, because it's like, and I know a lot of people listening will be like, oh, I get it. But, you know, the way I kind of break it down is when you have something that your body is, to me, is a temple, you know, your body is the only thing, your health is the only thing you have. And when you have something that has been proven, and there's testimonials all over your site, and there's testimonials, you have so many videos on YouTube explaining so many different things. So if somebody just hears it now and they think to themselves, oh man, just can't do all that. Believe me, you can sit there and watch Ken the Scientist videos for days and hear and understand exactly what this is. For those of you that want to relax more during your sex life, I strongly suggest that. You'll have a boner that lasts a long, long time. Your girlfriend will be happy. For you women that are having issues with your man and you want to give him something, just tell him you're giving him this thing because you love him and he's going to, you know, he's going to feel better and it's good for his health. And don't tell him that he's going to start waking up like a 14-year-old boy in the middle of the night and he's going to have his little testosterone coming up, because there's a lot of people who have very low testosterone in their life. I do not have low testosterone. My testosterone is pretty good, but it always can need another kick. So there's a discount code. There's a 10% off discount code that's at the bottom of this podcast. So you can check that out. We'll have Ken back on again because I really want to keep exploring the amazing journey of healing, because that to me is great. I've also noticed, you know, I'm not looking for afternoon naps at all. Whatever sleep that I get at night is enough. You know, Ken.
Yeah, that's one thing that C60 does for people that I want to point out, if I could there.
Please.
It's like a lot of guys, you're getting in your 30s, you're getting in your 40s, and you get that tiredness, right? You can't compete. You got these 20-year-olds or maybe the young 30-year-olds, right? They're in there. C60 will get in there and it gives you that energy back. You don't get the afternoon blahs after you do lunch. You don't get that. You mean, you get there, you have the energy in the morning and you can go, it's like you were like when you were 15, 20 years younger. And you just got that straight energy all the way across. And so that's one of the key things, because if you're in competitive business or something, or you do have physically actives that you have to do for a living, C60 is just a great rejuvenator, because it'll just bring you back to the performance level you had when you were much younger.
Oh, and I've noticed it because it was a night that I had a really bad night's sleep. I was tossing and turning, and I didn't think I slept all night. You know, one of those nights where you feel like you're up every hour on the hour. But yet the entire day, the next day, I had full-on energy. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, did I sleep last night? No, I didn't think I did, but man, I feel great. I mean, now I'm just tired at the end of the day, and I'm not looking like I don't need to nap. The beauty is not needing to nap. Not that I took naps anyway, but there was always this draggy feeling. And I don't drink coffee, Ken. To me, I'd rather stimulate my body from different ways. And I don't know, I have this zest. I have this energy. I have this energy that I haven't had in a long time, and I'm a very energetic person. I've had boners that I haven't had in a long time, and I'm a very boner person too. So, you know, there's definitely, you know, you ever put it like a very boner person, but I can feel, it's funny because I'm very in touch with my body. I can feel some repairs going on. It's interesting. I feel like I'm swallowing something that's repairing things, because you can actually feel it. If you actually are consciously connected to your body, when you put it in your mouth and you take it down, you're taking down oil in the morning, which is really hard on a lot of people's system. Yet, for some reason or another, I'm taking down a tablespoon and a half to a tablespoon of olive oil or avocado oil in the morning, and it's not affecting me in the least bit, which is really an interesting thing, because oil on an empty stomach first thing in the morning could make you flip and turn and do that. So it's amazing. So we'll have Ken on more. We're going to share more of the healing that's going on. We'll get more of your specific questions. If you have specific questions about what C60 is all about, please send me an email. I'll forward it to Ken. You get a nice 10% discount. You'll see that down below. And I strongly suggest, to all of you to invest in your health, because that's all you have. And your girlfriend and the women you date will actually like it too for you guys. So there's an added benefit. Having an erection that lasts for hours is a definite benefit, man. It really is, especially if you're in that sexual peak side of your life and you can go all night long. Go for it, man. Don't even think about it. Get off Viagra, get off of anything. And the quicker you can get off any prescription drug, the healthier your liver is going to be and the healthier your body is going to be, because prescription drugs are not anything you want to be addicted to. Any final words, Ken?
Oh, that's pretty covered that one. I'm looking forward to the future shows. And one of the things, the libido effect, it works for women too. So whatever it is, it rearranges their hormone structure so that they have a huge increase in libido too. So if your girlfriend's,
Nice.
or you met a new girl, just give her some C60. It'll get her excited too.
Awesome. All right, Ken, stay on the show. I'll give you a proper goodbye. The rest of you, there's a discount code down below for great sex. Dial into C60. That is going. The best sex of your life will come on C60. No play on words there. All right, Ken, hang out, okay?